Hey, what's going on, guys? Hayden here, also known as Zebs, bringing you another tutorial. And first off, my voice might be a little different. That's because I'm sick, and Jaden has been sick, same as Weston and Nick. All of us have been really sick, so that's why a few of us haven't uploaded, but I decided, hey, why not? I'm going to stick it through and upload. So, today I'm going to be showing you, I asked on Twitter earlier today, what should I do for a tutorial, and some people asked for a banner backing, which is basically a lot of people have trouble learning and there's not many tutorials on it. So I decided, hey, why not? I'll do a tutorial on it. So first of all, backings. For me personally, my backings consist of a lot of particles, textures, and sometimes stocks, depending on the type of banner I'm making. But for this tutorial, we're just gonna do textures, particles, and maybe a couple other things. So first of all, I'm just going to get a render. Well, first I'm just going to get my color correction. I'm just going to do the Vine style that I've recently made that people like, so I'm just going to use this. So you have your color correction. Oops. Oh, that looks bad. Anyway, so you have your color correction here. I'm just gonna get a quick render. Well, hold on. Graphics. Nope, wrong folder. I'm just gonna get this Sora one right here. This will do. So first of all, for backings, what I first do is I always like to reshape it to where I like, since obviously it's too big. Actually, yeah, that's too big. You could go right here. I'm actually gonna make it even smaller. And if you're curious how I'm keeping my ratio, I'm just holding shift and then using the corner, and then that'll give you keep your ratio. So this will do for size, and then if I turn up my color correction, there you go. So first thing I like to do is, depending on this, I like to mess with the render. So I duplicate it, go filter, and then I go with other, and then high pass, leave it at 10, and then I just go overlay, and that will give it a nice sharpen, and it sharpens the render. So I'm just going to turn down the opacity just a little bit, and then I'm just going to merge these two by selecting them all, and then merge, duplicate, and then go filter, filter gallery, and then glowing edges, and 265 is what I like to use. And with this, you could either just keep it normal or overlay. I like just you could experiment with both, see what they both look like. I don't like to have it very strong, as it kind of tends to ruin it a little bit. So I just kind of mess with it a little bit, find something that I think would look good. So what this will do, I'm just going to merge these. And then also another one is this glowing type thing. Here, I'll show you. So you want to go into radial blur, go zoom, best, and set it to like 100 for example, some like crazy amount. And when it'll take a second, and once it's loaded, you could notice this really cool looking thing, and you're just gonna go behind it. Well, actually, I'm gonna redo that. I'm gonna do a different setting. Like I said, there's a lot of personal stuff in this, so I mean, you might have to go back and do different things, so I'm just gonna go 50 maybe. I guess that'll do, I suppose. And you just want to turn down the opacity a bunch, where it's very not really showing. You might not be able to see it anymore on the video because YouTube dumbs down the quality. And the next part is, this is kind of depending on your material that you use. If it's too dark, I'm going to brighten this solar logo so it stands out a little bit more. So I'm just going to pen tool it. Now it's not going to be perfect because, well, for the sake of the tutorial, because I did a speed art on this and it took like 10 minutes to pen tool this out, so I'm just going to quickly do it. I'm not going to make it look perfect or spot on, just going to kind of go through it, going ham. But yes, A lot of this stuff is kind of just personal stuff that, like, if you prefer something, then you do that. And then with this, make selection, 0 pixels, do this, fill, and then just make it white, just pure white. And then I'm just gonna do it on the top one. Boom, boom, boom. And obviously, as you can see, I'm not pen tooling the vines because then that'll make the vines that color as well. We don't want that. We just want the logo, the grungy part, to stand out from the green. So that's why I'm pen tooling it out. And I'm just gonna do it one last time on this little part here. Yeah, I did this really bad. I did not take my time, but so once you basically have your logo colored in, what you want to do is, I'm just gonna merge these all so it's easier. So if I was to uncheck it, you have your original, and then you have this white. We're gonna go into overlay, and as you can see already, it's already brightened it out, but it's obviously too bright. So we're just going to lower the opacity just a little bit. So something such as 35%. So as you can see now, the logo is standing out a lot more than before, which is good. We want that. So the next part is what I like to do is I like to add lights. So this kind of depends also on your render. This all kind of depends on your render, but I like to use this second light. If you want these lights, I have it in my everything pack if you don't already have it, but this is just my personal pack, so I don't give that one out. But I'm just going to have it over the render, and then I'm gonna change the hue by going Control U or Command U on a Mac, I believe. I'm just going to get a nice looking green, such as this possibly, and that'll give it some good lighting. And then a lot of people like to do this for different types of renders, as they like to go they also like to have the lights at the bottom. Now obviously for this type of render we're not going to have lights at the bottom, but a lot of people, if you're going to make a render such as something that's not this, then you want to have it at the, not at the bottom, just at the top. And then the next part, once I have lighting, is I like to do particles. Now particles are hard to find, so that's why I am using Triumph's pack, because he has loads of good particles. This is his 800 subscriber pack. It's free download, so if you want to go check him out, his YouTube will be in the description down below. Saw Triumph, you could even do that, it'd be probably quicker. But anyway, he has particles, lighting, flares, smoke, and overlays, so a lot of good backings that you could use for backings, obviously. So just particles, lighting, things like that. So we're gonna go into particles, and for particles, I like to have some blurry ones and some ones that stand out. So such as these. These ones I really like to use a lot for a lot of my banners. So I'm just going to duplicate it, put it in my banner, and then I'm gonna look. And then here's, like I said, I like blur ones, so I'm gonna use these as well. And then once you have those could work, but I like to go a little bit more and look for, which ones are they? These are good ones. So yep, there you go. So now that you have your particles, I highly recommend modifying them a lot. Don't just leave them like this. Edit the opacity a bunch. So we're just going to uncheck them all, and we're going to start with one particle, so it's easier to manage. So I'm just going to duplicate these all throughout the render. For these bigger ones, I like to have them close to the render and not throughout the whole banner. So something such as this. And I'm just going to lower the opacity just a little bit, not a whole lot, where it's barely visible, such as this. And then once you're done with that, oops, I'm going to check this second one, which is the blurry one. And this one's already fit for the whole banner, so I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to put these behind the focused one, and I'm just going to lower the opacity just a little bit. Since it's already blurry, it's already kind of hard to see, but for YouTube, it'll be noticeable, so yes. So these third ones, kind of optional, just get a little bit more detail. I'm just going with these, and you just want to lower the opacity the same. You always want to lower the opacity. You don't want to have the full 100 opacity, because then it'll just, it won't focus on the render, it'll focus on these particles. So once you have that, the next part I like to do is go with textures. So textures, it just adds a little bit more into it than just a black background, but in this case a greenish black one. So as you can see, it has depth into it. Well, not depth, but like it adds detail into the background. But obviously it's going to be barely noticeable. I don't think you guys are going to be able to see it due to the fact of YouTube, once again. So I'm just going to lower it down to like 22%, where it's just barely visible. So as you can see, and once we've done that, what I like to do is now do, for this case, I guess you could say, I guess we'll do stocks now. So for these, I like to, for this type of style, I like to cut these vines off and have it throughout the banner, such as this, so it's not just some random like vine throughout. It has like spread out. I like to do this a lot, so it can kind of look like there's more to than that just render. So I'm just going to do this, and you want obviously randomize it so it's not kind of weird, and I'm just going to have it throughout each little part. And it's okay if only a little showing. That doesn't matter too much. So I'm just gonna do this, and as you can see, that glow, it looks really cool with these vines. So and then I'm just going to have another one. Alright, that'll do. So now that we have that, it adds a little bit more depth into it so that it looks like the render's actually blended in. And once we've done that, what we're going to do next is add some stocks. Now, this is kind of optional. Oh, I forgot a step. So I guess instead of stocks, we're going to add smoke. Now, if you don't have a good smoke, all you have to do is get smoke brushes, or grunge brushes, because it basically looks like smoke, and then just merge it all together, and then there you go. And for my smoke, I like to have it above the color correction, because if you have it in the color correction, it kind of looks weird. I don't like it. So I'm just going to have this throughout each thing, and I have a little bit in the main render, and we're just going to lower the opacity of each one where it's barely noticeable but still there. So something like this, and I'm going to lower the opacity even more on the main render. So, oops, wrong one. Is it this one? I think it is. No? Oh, it's the top one. We're just going to lower it a little bit more than the others, so it gives a little bit more depth into them. So once we've done that, what we're going to do is, probably, we're going to skip the stocks, and here's a little cool this is kind of the after part of banner of things. Most people don't do tutorials on it, but I like to duplicate everything that you've done, merge them all together, so you now have this full image of the whole banner. And once I duplicate it, I'm going to go double click it, and then you're going to be in blending options. We're going to go into, we're going to check green, and then have the move tool, and then on your arrow keys on your keyboard, just kind of move it to the right a little bit. So find a good spot, very subtle. You don't want to have too much, unless that's your type of style. And then once we've done that, we're going to go into filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and I guess set it to about 1.0, just one. Yeah, that'll be enough. And we're going to get the erasing tool, and we're just going to erase some of the stuff on the SOAR logo so it kind of stands out a little bit more. So once we've done that, I'm just going to merge them all together again, duplicate it, and then I guess we will add maybe some lighting. So I'm just going to do this, get a regular soft brush, and then get a green, a nice green. I guess I'll go with the darker green. Make it bigger by doing that. And then just kind of find good spots for it. And just lower the opacity. Now I'm just going to erase all of this because it's kind of distracting me. Alright. So now it adds a little bit more color into it so it's not bland. And then if you'd like, this is kind of an experiment, I'm just going to mix smaller, add a little bit of blue. Oops. You're very subtle. Just spots around it. Alright, so once you've done that, we're just going to merge all these together, once again, as usual. And then here's where, I mean, you could keep adding more if you wanted, but I'm just going to teach you guys something that kind of really bugs me for, like, beginner designers, that if you have something, for example, to prove that you made this banner, which is, yes, understandable. I do that too. Some people just do this. They just have, like, Zebs, like, that's my name, but, like, their name just randomly everywhere, and it's, like, full opacity, so it's more eye-appealing than the store logo itself. We don't want to do that. So what a little thing I like to do is I like to have my name and then zoom in a little bit. I like to make it like so. Make a new layer, fill this with white, just pure white. And then with this I like to and then I like to put the name of the banner. So I guess Store Studios. And we're just going to make it a little bit smaller because it's kind of a little big. And we're just going to kind of put it under that. And then that's a good, like, little thing, looking thing. And we're just going to merge them all together. Oops. Merge. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find a nice looking spot for it. So I guess you could say right here would be nice. And we're going to lower the opacity down to, like, maybe 10%. It kind of depends on your color correction, how strong, and things like that. So, yeah, find a good dominant spot, but, like, that, it's nice, it's noticeable, people will see it, but it's not too dominant where you're not able to see the render, or, like, not see the render, but, like, that's where you first look. You want to first look at the main part of the render. That's why we make it in the middle, more dominant, and things like that. So, hope you enjoyed this tutorial. This is kind of the before and after backings of making a banner. There's other stuff that you must do to make a successful banner, and sorry about them. But yes, hope you enjoyed this tutorial, guys. I'm Zebs, and I'm out. Peace.